Okay, so I just want to do an example video on lesson 2.8. The big thing here was the squaring property of equality. So we learned that we can square both sides to get rid of a square root. So I'm not going to go into all the steps of solving. We know that we need to do number side and variable side, and then we need to simplify. And in this case, there's nothing to simplify on either side. So we're just to the solving portion of our process. So we're at step 3 essentially, where we want to solve. And we want to use SADMEP to do so, because SADMEP gives us the most efficient way of isolating the variable. So is there anything being added or subtracted? And I know you're thinking, yes, there's something that's being added or subtracted on the variable side because you've got this stuff under the radical, right? But because it's under this radical, we cannot deal with the addition and subtraction that's happening until we get rid of the radical itself. So until this phase right here, we are stuck, right? So let's go ahead and move on. Is there anything that's being multiplied or divided on the variable side? Well, there's this -4 right here. Now the -4 does not have a sign between it and where the radical is. So technically this -4 is being multiplied. So we can go ahead and deal with this multiplication by dividing. So let's go ahead and divide by -4. So divide the left side and the right side of the equal sign by -4. Here we're going to get 1, and we know that 1 times the radical is the radical and what's inside of it. So we've got 6 minus 38n under the radical still. Negative divided by negative is positive. 4 goes into 5 once, and we're left with 1, so 4 goes into 16 4 times. So we have 14. Good. Now we can go ahead and get rid of the radical. We can get rid of the radical. So a lot of students sometimes try to get rid of the radical with their first step because they're confused and they don't understand that it's better to get rid of the 4 first. And what they end up doing is they square or think they're squaring both sides, but they don't end up squaring this -4. Now we don't have that -4 to worry about, so when we square both sides, the square is going to undo the radical, and we've got to make sure that we square the other side as well. So the square undoes the radical, this all goes to the first power, and we can use the multiplicative identity just to rewrite this as 6 minus 38n. 14 squared, I just used the calculator to figure that out, is 196. And now we can just solve by getting rid of the last two numbers on the variable side. So we're going to -6 here, -6 here, we get 190 equals 0, obviously, minus 38n, -38n, and then divide by the -38 to get rid of this -38 that's being multiplied, and we're left with n equals, and I use the calculator again, -5. So I'm going to show you now how to just put this into the graphing calculator. If you wanted to put this in the graphing calculator, we've got a constant on this side, so we've got to put it in as y equals -56, and then this side is good to go because it already has the variable. So y equals -56, and then we had -4 times the square root of 6 minus 38x. 6 minus 38x. So we've got our two lines. Oh, let me go back to the default. So we had our one line. This is what you should be seeing. And this -56, I'm going to go down to find it. I can zoom out and eventually see it, right? But I know it's going to be down where -56 is. And you can see that quite clearly. And where is it crossing? They're intersecting at -5, which we know is our solution.